American citizens can expect an SMS from the president. The Federal Emergency Management Agency is testing its presidential alert system later this week. The agency says the text messages will be sent to cell phones across the U.S. in case of a national emergency, such as a major weather event. But some people believe this is just another platform for Donald Trump to speak his mind. Well, to discuss this, help us understand and look at this development is Professor Dirk Kotze, who is a political analyst at Unisa in our Pretoria studio. Prof, good morning and thank you very much. I mean, the Federal Emergency Management Agency making it very clear that come Thursday this week, Americans are going to receive a text about saying that it's a test of the National Wireless Emergency Alert System and that no action is required. But some people are very skeptical about this, viewing this with suspicion.
Well, I think one has to be, in this case, a bit more reserved about it. This is something that comes quite a number of years back already. This system was approved in 2015 by the American Congress. That was during the time of President Obama. According to the legislation that deals with this matter, they must test it at least every 3 years. So this is now the third year after 2015. It has been established actually already in 2012. They've already indicated to everyone already what will be the message. It will be a very formal message, a test message, in which President Trump is not at all involved. So it is seen as a presidential in the sense that it has his stamp of authority, but it is not formulated by himself. But I'm not saying that it is not possible that in future President Trump can use it more directly. He's very active at the moment on his own Twitters with respect to the natural disasters, the storms that are on the east coast of the U.S. So in that sense, there is the potential, but for the moment, I don't think we must see it as an invention from President Trump or something that he's going to exploit, because there are certain very specific prescriptions about it.
As you said, it began during the Obama years when it was approved by Congress in 2012, but some Americans, and we've checked social media, are not really warming up to this idea. I mean, some people say, I don't want this, how do I opt out of it? I know Trump, that's Donald Trump, is not big on consent, but I don't consent to this. There seems to be a little bit of skepticism about whether or not the president one day might use this to promote whatever messages he wants to promote.
Well, I share the idea that President Trump is a very unconventional person. He uses systems and the media in a very unconventional way. Take, for example, the tweets that he's sending. But at the same time, this specific instrument of communication is reserved only for national emergencies. That means for national disasters, for man-made disasters, acts of terrorism, or situations that threaten public security. And it is specified by the legislation of Congress. So it will be very difficult for President Trump to start making comments, for example, about the Russian investigation on this system, or about this coming elections, the midterm elections in America. So those things, I think he will himself understand that he is excluded from it. This system is actually managed by an agency called FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency of the U.S. So they will send most of the messages in the name of the president, actually.
So he's going to have to stick to what the law says and defines is an emergency. So very briefly, from your insights, I mean, from your understanding, then it's in the hands of FEMA. So some of the Americans and people who've gone to social media who are expressing reservations about it really have nothing to worry about.
No, I'm not saying that they should not worry about it in the long term, but I think for the immediate term, it is very definitely defined for national emergencies, and it is excluded from President Trump's use. I mean, by the way, he remains having access to Twitter, and that is something which he can do without going through the state bureaucracy or the federal bureaucracy. It is much more accessible to him So I think we must expect that he's going to still be very active on Twitter and use this only when it is necessary. And for that reason, I don't think for the immediate future, we should now see a flurry of presidential or Trump messages on this system.
Thank you very much. Prof. Dirk Kotze, political analyst from Unisa there. Interesting insights. Yeah, this was approved, partner, he was saying, way back in 2012 by Congress under the Barack Obama regime, is to allow the president of the state or United States, when there's a national emergency of sorts, to send an SMS to citizens across advising them of the emergency or wherever that emergency would be, like a big hurricane weather system. So we'll see.